But let's start, Ephraim, with the NBA. And there are reports out that, first of all, the first report was that the Philadelphia 76ers are unlikely to trade Ben Simmons before the trade deadline. Now, if you blow him away, so be it, and they'll do it. But otherwise, they probably don't trade Ben Simmons because their master plan is to wait until the offseason when they think they can get James Harden. Now, Harden could be a free agent, and it will have to be a sign and trade, so the Nets would have to agree to it. But if Harden says, look, I want to go to the Nets, and I'll leave and go elsewhere for nothing, then the Nets could want to get something for him. And Ben Simmons, no matter what you think of him, is a pretty good player, and you could get him and some other stuff for him. So there's that. And then there was a report came out on Bleacher Report that Harden is a bit disgruntled with the way things are going with the Brooklyn Nets. He doesn't particularly love living in Brooklyn, and more importantly, that he's bothered by Kyrie Irving not playing half the season. They're only playing in the road games because he's unvaccinated. So, Ephraim, a lot there to chew on. Let's start with this. What do you think about the Sixers not trading Ben Simmons and him probably, I don't think he's going to play the rest of the year, him not playing all season and then making their run at James Harden? And if you're Harden, what are your thoughts?
To answer the first part of that, I don't understand what the 76ers are doing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't understand them not trading Ben Simmons because all you can focus on is the here and now, right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to put the best product on the court, trying to put the best product out there that can get you a championship into the playoffs, deep run right now. They have a valuable asset just hanging out, and them not being able to are willing to move him this year to help their chances this year, especially in a wide open East. I just don't understand the mentality of that. And I know their asking price was extremely high and they wanted this and wanted that. But when it comes down to it is what can you do for your team now? Having Ben Simmons still on the roster, not playing, does zero for your roster right now.
I couldn't disagree more. Couldn't disagree. Now, look, if you give me a fair trade or a good trade, then yeah, I'll trade Ben Simmons. But I'm not trading him for pieces, Ephraim, that aren't going to make me like a stone cold Eastern Conference contender. Like I'm right there now with Brooklyn and Milwaukee. That's what I want. And if I'm not getting that, I'm not trading. Ben can sit the next 3-4 years for all I care. If I'm Philadelphia and they're still, they're in the 6th seed, yes, but they're only 2.5 games out of first place.
Right.
So they're still in the hunt, but I don't think they've been offered anything. Some pieces from Sacramento, but not De'Aaron Fox. Some pieces from Atlanta, obviously not Trae Young. And so I don't think there's a deal that they've been offered that to me would make them budge. And when I look at this, Ephraim, I do think, I didn't think this a few months ago, but now I really think they actually have a legitimate chance of getting James Harden. Because I think James Harden is like, okay, KD's hurt again. Kyrie is only playing half the games. And who's to say next season it's going to be any different? Who's to say the New York City mandate is going to be any different surrounding COVID and being vaccinated? So this might be the case next year too. And I look at Philadelphia and I see Joel Embiid. I see my old general manager who I had the best years of my career with, Daryl Morey. And here's the other thing, Ephraim. And I don't think this has entered Harden's mind because, look, he went to Brooklyn with Kyrie and Durant.
He chose that.
Right, he chose that. But a championship in Philadelphia with Joel Embiid would be more impressive, in my view, and I think most people's view, than a championship in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And so I see nothing but reasons for him to go to Philadelphia. And if you're Philly, you need Simmons to make the sign and trade. Because if I'm the Nets and I can lose Harden for nothing, or I can get Ben Simmons, who would fit well with Durant and Kyrie Irving, then I go ahead and I do that. So I totally think Philadelphia's playing this the right way, Ephraim.
Yeah, when you're talking about tomorrow and next year and what we're gonna do and this and that, so much can happen between now and next year. We know that. We've seen that professionally and personally the last 3 years especially. So when you're
But what's the trade? What if they can't, they're being offered role players essentially?
Of course.
Is that going to make you a championship team?
Adding pieces to a team right now that's already 2 games out of first place in a wide open East?
Remember, you're losing Ben Simmons, but you might have to give up some more too.
Yeah, but
adding role players, I don't know that adding role players is going to do it. Adding a second star will do it, but role players? And if you're doing that just for this year. But if I can get James Harden in free agency, I can contend for the next 3 years.
Well, yeah, that's what Brooklyn thought as well, right? James Harden had an opportunity to go to 76ers. He chose Brooklyn.
Right.
All right.
But it was close.
He'll be older. Right. Of course, it was close. He was weighing it out. Everybody wants to play with their friends. Everybody wants to play with their boys. That's not always the best situation. Ask the Lakers. We'll get to them. We'll get to them later. We'll get to them later. We'll get to them later. Exactly. Right. So when you're looking at this situation, you got to really, Ben Simmons is making a lot of money doing nothing. And I'm trying, as a GM, as a coach, as a team, I'm trying to win now. I don't know what next year's going to be. I don't care what next year's going to be. As a player, I'm worried about right now. I'm not talking about next year and what we should do this and do. Get rid of them now to help us now, because there's no promise of tomorrow.
Yeah, but okay, so what if I'm the Washington Wizards, the Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, and I know I can't win it this year. I'm supposed to win it now, of course. Yeah, we're going to go out there and give 110%.
I'm talking about teams that are in position to win. The 76ers are right there.
So what?
The Bulls just lost. Everybody hurt, right? We see what's going on there.
Yeah, but they should get.
Hold on. Brooklyn, right? It's so much discord. KD's done. Kyrie's yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. James Harden disenfranchised, right? So all you have is Milwaukee holding strong. As the 76ers, I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity for us right now. Now, you can, if you want to, but the fact of the matter is, if they made the right decisions and they could be the number 1 seed in the East going into the playoffs, have this thing rolling in the right direction, opposed to holding on to, look, Ben Simmons is talented. He's not the most talented NBA player. Great defender, great rebounder, liability offensively. Okay? What he put on the court last year, his value plummeted. It's going to have lasting effects, right? The whole thing in the summer with the cell phone and I'm practicing, I don't want to practice, mental health, I don't want to see your mental health. All of that matters now. So this is part of the package. It's just not a player who hasn't had anything. It's just a player.
I'm with you in that it is a real question as to what his value is.
I'm telling you. So now you're holding out for the supreme. It's not going to be what they think it's going to be.
It might, because if I'm Brooklyn and I'm gonna lose James Harden for nothing, and you can't say, oh, well, let him go. We'll use his money, to get somebody else. No, they still gonna be capped out. And so I can either lose him for nothing or bring in a great defender, great ball distributor, which is perfect to play with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. So I can lose Harden for nothing, or I can get Ben Simmons. I'm going to throw something else at you, Ephraim. Dame Lillard. Now, I know Portland hadn't been willing to trade him yet, but if they're smart, once they get somebody in charge, they'll say, look, we're 6 games under 500. We ain't going nowhere with this team, right? Chauncey coaches a different way. He wants a defensive-minded team. Let's go young and build with Chauncey. We had a great run with Damian, but it's over. And Anthony Simons, for those that have been watching, the young cat is balling, Ephraim. 25.7 assists over the last 10 games while Dame's been out. And the Blazers have gone 7-3. So if I'm Portland, I'm saying, look, I'm going to build around Anthony Simons and trade Damian for Ben Simmons and something else and bring them here. And we're going to build young. The fan base will be excited about young players who play hard, who are exciting.
Then do it
and
now.
So maybe Philadelphia. Not yet. Not yet. But in the summer. And that's also what Philly's waiting for. Bradley Beal, they're the 10th seed Washington. Where they going?
Nowhere. And let me ask you this.
So you wait. Be patient. Ephraim, you thinking like a player and a coach. Now. We got to win now.
Yeah,
a GM has to look long term.
I understand that, right? They signed the contracts. They created the situation. When you look at someone like Joel Embiid, what do you think he's saying? You think he's talking about next year, or you want what?
Look, if he knows he can get James Harden or Damian Lillard, I think he's saying, look, I'm a ball out, because you know how it is, Ephraim. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. He want to win. You don't think he want to win right now?
I think he wants to win, but I think he's willing to just go out there and give it the old college try this year.
Ain't nobody giving it the
and
old.
get that MVP award.
No,
get that
man.
MVP award.
Ain't nobody giving it the old college try.
Man,
I promise you that, man.
Look, we're going to continue this conversation on the other side of the break. Class is in session, y'all. Ephraim, we were just talking about James Harden and could he wind up in Philadelphia. A report said that he's bothered by Kyrie Irving being a part-time player because he's not vaccinated.
Of course.
I know you don't like, Kyrie not being vaccinated and all that. What are your thoughts on, first, the Nets allowing Kyrie to play and come back, and how that can work for the team dynamic and all of that? They're 4-3 with Kyrie on the court. Or since he's been back, I should put it that way. Since he's been back. So not like they're lighting the league on fire. But what are your thoughts on that?
First off, on the topic of the Nets allowing him to come back and play, I don't impose something and not stand by it, no matter what's going on. That's the first thing. It's like a parent, right? If you tell a child, hey, don't climb up on this chair and grab these cookies. You come in, they climb up on the chair, grab the cookies. You say, all right, you're on punishment, and go to your room. Later on that night, you have some friends come over, and they're like, hey, can we see it? And you let them come out, and they playing, they having a good time. You just undermine your parenting. So what the Brooklyn Nets did was they undermined their own authority. Like if you say something, you got to stick with it. That's just what it is. No matter what's going on, that's the point of taking a stand. Now, in terms of him wanting to get vaccinated or not, look, Kyrie can make his own decision. I've never been against him making a decision. I've been against him making a decision and coming to play. Like, you just go home. Opt out, right? I don't want to get vaccinated. I'm going to opt out. Just to keep myself safe, everybody else safe. Boom. You do your thing. We're going to do our thing. Don't do the in and out, right? Because as professional athletes, and speaking as one who was a professional athlete for 13 years, there's certain things that you must sacrifice for the betterment of the team. It happens all the time. So
let me ask you, are you saying Kyrie should understand, look, if you don't want to get vaccinated, you're putting yourself and your teammates in danger, so stay away? Or are you saying you don't want to get vaccinated, so we can't have you in here flip-flopping half the time, so stay away.
Yes, I'm saying both of those.
Exactly. Because I was going. So are you saying that in football then? Because Aaron Rodgers wasn't vaccinated.
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson, should they not have played?
See, but the difference is, right? If football had rules, right? If they were like, hey, you can't play, right? Take Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. You can't play the home games because you're not vaccinated. Imagine that. Imagine Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, 8 games he can't play. Where are they? We're not even talking about how they lost the game this weekend.
No, they're not even in the playoffs.
Right. So this is how big this is.
But
right now, but that wasn't a mandate. That wasn't not
only 8 games.
Right, and it wasn't. Games. But it wasn't a mandate. Right. This wasn't. This was New York. New York, like, yo, you can't be up in here without being vaccinated. So with that said, you have to make a decision. Right? If you're part of a team that's paying you well, my whole thing is we've all made sacrifices as professional athletes for the betterment of the team. Now, do you think Kyrie Irving was the only one who didn't want to get vaccinated on that team?
Probably not.
I can promise you it wasn't.
And we've seen Andrew Wiggins got vaccinated. Bradley Beal got vaccinated.
You know why? Because when you're in this position, it's bigger than just that.
I hear that, but look, I don't know what his mentality is, but if this is that important to him,
then go up. That's what I'm saying. Then
I
go
don't
sit
begrudge
down.
him. I mean, if they gonna let you play half the games, I love playing basketball.
He already said, but he already
can do it.
But what he said was, it's not a basketball. It's not about basketball. The most of my life is away from basketball. It wasn't a basketball thing.
No, but I'm saying I know, but I'm saying if they allow him to play, I agree. I think he should have got vaccinated and be playing the whole season.
Come on, bro. Like, what are we doing?
But I'm just like the parenting explanation, which is a good one for parenting. Because the goal of parenting is to teach moral lessons to your children so they grow up knowing how to live life and be moral people. But that's not the goal of an NBA team. The goal of an NBA team is to win. Like I initially thought send Kyrie away, period. And then I saw, you know what? The way Harden's playing, they can't win the championship without Kyrie.
No, but
so then I said, you know what? Bring him back.
I'm going to ask you one question.
Part-time. That's your best shot.
I'm going to ask you one question. Do you think the Nets, with Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, can win a championship with Kyrie not playing any home games in the playoffs?
I think they have a better chance of winning it with that than without Kyrie.
So let me ask you this. You know the Bulls championship teams? What if Scottie Pippen didn't play home games?
Oh, it's tough. No, I'm not saying it's ideal by any
Golden
stretch.
State.
I'm just saying they got a better shot at it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, when you get into a playoff series,
it might happen. It's going to be tough.
If you have home court advantage in the playoffs, and your second best player can't play, you no longer have home court advantage.
Yeah, but I get that. I'm not saying it's ideal or better than if he could play all games. But I'd rather have him, again, looking at the way they looked without him, I would rather have Kyrie part-time than have him not at all. Because as far as winning, I think that's their best shot. I ain't trying to make a moral statement. I'm not trying to, anything like that. I'm just doing what's best for us to win. And I think that gives them the best shot. We got more to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
This is going to be fun. Yeah, but we got Ralph Irving coming up first. Ralph with the update.
You got to keep in mind that Band-Aid may not be in place come April or May. Never know.
So then he could play. You don't know what's going to happen.
You never know.